In the land of the Thunder Dragon lies a special place where wisdom and compassion have forged a unique way of life. Welcome to Gelefu Mindfulness City. Together, we begin a new era of mindful prosperity.
Welcome to the BBS special on Gelefu Mindfulness City. We are privileged to have key leaders from the GMC authority share their insights on developments in the special administrative region and launch an open recruitment drive to invite Bhutanese talent to participate in His Majesty the King's vision to build a mindfully prosperous and successful GMC.
With this introduction, I will now head to Paro to speak with GMC's CEO Liu Man Leong and the team as we begin this BBS special. Mr. Liu, welcome and thank you for joining us today. Now, with your long and distinguished career building Changi International Airport in Singapore and running Asia's largest real estate company by market capitalization, could you please share with us your views of the challenges in establishing a special administrative region and perhaps the opportunities for talented Bhutanese to contribute to the nation-building process under His Majesty's Diamond Strategy featuring one country, two systems?
First, let me describe the project to build a GMC within the SAR as a very bold, complex, unprecedented, and indeed unparalleled undertaking. You can look at it as a project that requires both software and hardware. The software part of it is the SLR, the governing system that will govern the place. So we have to build up this governing system, which includes building out the legal system, the judicial system, the tax system, the financial system, the administrative system, and the trade system. All these will have to be originated and created from the beginning. So this is a very complex task. It's almost building another country, within a country. The next one is building the GMC. The GMC itself is also a very huge undertaking. We have to resettle or clear the land. We have to build an international airport. An airport is a very complex project. It's a system of a system. Then we have to build the infrastructure. We have to build the mindfulness city. And all these have to be planned and built to attract visitors, investors, and even catering to residents there. I mean, you must not just cater for investors and tourism, you cater for residents. At the same time, we want to produce a modernistic, technological city, but balancing with Bhutanese culture, tradition, value system. So the balancing of modernity and culture or tradition is a very fine task. So if you combine both, you will see that it is a very challenging task in terms of expertise, experience, etc. But to be frank, the team which we are together have done a very similar thing. I mean, I personally had built an airport 50 years ago, and it was from the ocean. We had to reclaim the land. So it is something that we can handle, but we must be courageous, and we must be pragmatic, meaning finding solutions to the problems that we face without just sticking to fixed dogma, doctrine, or theory, but what works. At the same time, we have to stay on course on the purpose, and more importantly, the value system. So this is something that we will take as our approach to building the hardware. In terms of opportunity, I've been here for 6 months. I have interacted with quite a lot of Bhutanese, local Bhutanese. And in my opinion, there is a rich pool of talent here. So this will be an opportunity for them to really practice what they are. We need to reskill them, upskill them, and train them in the environment during the project as well as when the city is running. So plenty of opportunity. that we can capitalize on.
Right, Mr. Liu, now I'm sure a lot of people are excited inside and outside the country are excited about this whole recruitment drive and the opportunities available. If you could elaborate more on the opportunities available.
Okay, within the city, we are planning to have a number of clusters of industries. But even before the industries are being planned, building the city itself, building the airport, building the infrastructure will be good opportunity for Bhutanese in that field. The construction development itself. Designing the administrative system itself, we need administrators, we need accountants, we need lawyers. We need people who understand what works for the local Bhutanese population, because administrative system elsewhere may not fit the local population. But at the same time, when we finish the project, we will have a host of industry. I can only name a few industry that we are planning. For example, energy, renewable energy, hydro dam, agrotech, hospitality, tourism is a big thing for us. But tourism includes wellness centers and all these things, resorts. So there will be a lot of industry that we are trying to identify that will be suitable for GMC. And these are opportunity where Bhutanese can use it as a training ground to learn their skill, to upgrade their skill. In fact, I would say that the GMC itself is an excellent training institute. It is a practice university for professionals. I mean, when we built the Changi Airport 50 years ago, the airport was also a university, because this is life where you can practice a profession. So I see a lot of industry that they can fit in, unlimited.
Thank you for your time. Lasula dato ngarabyo chin la gelipu denshi thomtsugi chizin dashu Dr. Lotisring da chikha yesi shunila da dashu cheraya pa gelipulura shula de magi mise da thonla bemi mi chu da cha dewa thap thap sa shudonla da digi kole na dashu gi achi su na machinda de di masumbe hemala ngachi dambara dup chachap gila gelipu denshi thomchulu pen gadebera ta chuni na delian chil hendap gadebera be chuni na digi thuji gadebera namela di kola su na shunila
las mapangara ma dibi boda chora ma jogomigi da ma digomigi ned ngomba di tata GMC semidi toto chunja jamling na lu lalin mathabi gi legil chimel te meonga da michigi tare the cha chi gi tyonu me machina nala pa phaji pujilu phemi gi siji jamling na toto kaige lalin mathabi gi sijure chamna be boda te mise su gi leji machine gi tyonu tangara gi shi su sup chi cha gen shishna te nimrin charma mis da chi ga dewa thabdi be doi se shunibi 당아저라 두비미시기들로 펜 가디베 도수가 세우들로 땡아기 배워진 마치 두비미슬로 도도 춘체 마파 두비미시기 차샵도 레지메 슈이생 가저라 가라기시 넬레파 겐쿠 bom쇼 집디 같이도 없어와진 명아들의 무치기 덴시에 톰세 계약합 진달로 시중이 주디기베 투 시스템 인 원 컨트리스 럽도 좀베 당아니수 시주디기 태차치로 같이 계약합다 미슬로 가디베 펜 도주베가 주 계약합디 푸텐 토토존이기들로 미글 가디비게디도가 안술레심베 하고급디 같이 미세 가래 경구좀 집에 소위 있으시니빌 같이 미세와진디 마차르 두비미세기 마시바야 소바진 담마라지지 모사스스벨유니메라 같이 미세와진 다 겔리푸 텐셰 톰세 GMC SAR 세미드수 잠링나기 캐초수기 나미 세미 이시기리 여발라 다니 공기 이시기들로 마차르 두비미세수기디 디옹감베 디올합베 시수베 두비미세 레레 진도기 GMC SAR 기 콜레 겔리푸 텐셰 톰기 콜레 디와 민 마시 유리 유세기 렌디 마차르기 시수베 랍수베 시바진 땡아기 베와진 태차지 나나마 로징이 지기 된로디 마차르 두비미세기 대단히 겔리푸 텐셰 톰기 좀 잡죠 퓨니스로 아니지 멜람 퓨니스로 아니지 같이 우베제오메 수님이
다 다슈기라 겔리푸 텐셰 톰수 지미딜라 다 다슈 체럴로 베오친 같이 숨치 이제 토삼쇼멜라
다 마파티 나라치기 삼셔쇼와진 다 다음 질로 되게 합나로 내땅 가데베조다가 태다 주기 된로 차게 라미 뒤미지라 이라 렌미시기 고갑나베 롱마 중존이 고갑 토비갑로에 gyakam na mati zamling na gi netange atire haku gyakam na lu sego tab madu shule ngen ka ke ni gi netang de solejim be haku shile di nami sim sagelang di dubila len nekap kadebe tundi berura nga chigi theda julu pembe se subigi nekap chi maple ma thong se shunibi duge khap na ma thong ge khap jemige kaige theda julu pembe lochio lochi tapbe josubigi nekap to tuni samsam minula 다니 노데데바 다리 명화들이 모치기 같이라 다 가라기 시베 게 갑진나루 시중이 주디기베 내갑 삽 마도 같이 텐디베로 라렌 탑수비기 시주지 주나베 베갈레디 데나미 심로디디 오메스 슈니베라
Dashuda kele potential tom to nalula adashu ngachi dubimise de sulu kokap kadebera yani chi sonala
라루 kokap 톱고 바친 다마르 시주디 미귤디 레짐 하고고 세슈니베라 랑게 시주디 레짐 하고 셔와친 대기디 같이 WDD 고급 톱미 통사라인라 또 같이 두비알루수 나준수 피가 같이 베조메서도 코바 윤티츠 랑기 로딘 둡수비기 요기 고급지 마톱니디기 라나미 세메 베사우들로 라다 딘두미기 뉴포치 마톱니기 조베도 발라 다니 주행안에 텐시 톰디기 테라 같이 톱니메서 와친 랑기 윤티도 딘두미기 요치 톱니메 랑기 라기 gemkude 딘두미기 도시우다기 뉴포치 톱니메 아니디 잠닝이나 칼레 too much 왜 셈마슈베 같이나 톱니메 발라 디디 테 자치기 뭐 줄레 뱅알레 잠닝나기 미케타 케초 시주 남틴 레짐 예수기 사고치나 룽알라베오 조니 세와진 아니디 마치 겔리 포텐시 톰수나 톱수니디기 남이 세밀로디에 세슈니베나 마치라 가라길랍메 다리나바 뒤주디기베 자체 튀체 케타레샤 튠메세 자체다 튀체 케타 튠 메마시나 미 케타 튠미 다이메라 단 잠닝나 미디수 로치오 로치 케타 튠밍알레 시주 남틴 레짐 투자다 바친 잠닝이 나기 케초 케타수 가라 나온디기베 라비니 고급도발라 라 로베서 조니디 조마곱디 파라자니메 잠닝나 미 케초 가라 나 굽디기베 라비니기 고급도라 사니보다 다르기 아처 두비미세 다레 테 차치기 튜는 배워진 GMC 기 라베오들로 GMC 나 라베미기 케초디수 명화들이 뭐지기 교속레 구주니기베 마 라베미니소 잠닝나기 케타 케초디수 가라 굽디기베 라베주도 다니보다 아처 두비미세 디수게 두비나준디수게 슐레 bombe 사고 바친 다리미나로 잠닝나기 케초수도 지가 라베 냠뇽 레지메 톱베 슐레 잠닝나 케초베 드니기 고갑 마쩌리기 칭게 함나도 휴스 슈니빈
So right now we're joined by a distinguished panel to talk more about this whole recruitment drive. First up, we have Dashu Arun Kapoor and Mr. Lee, esteemed members of the board. Joining them is Dashota Shidoji, who leads the spiritual work stream. We will also hear from Mr. Kuntoy, the project manager, and rounding off our panel is Mr. Jonathan To, GMC's Chief International Affairs Officer, bringing a global perspective to the table. Now, thank you everyone for joining with us today. Now, let's kickstart the question with Dashu Arunla. Now, Dashula, as an educator for many years, can you share with us your impressions of Bhutanese talent that GMCA will find particularly useful?
Okay, so I've had the privilege and the honor to work with many Bhutanese over a decade, more than a decade now. Students, teachers, bureaucrats, diplomats, private people. So the whole monks. One of the things that I think when we look at GMC, it's a seamless, in my mind, a seamless connection between Bayul and Gelefut. So that whole seamlessness, I think, is what is all the people here in Bhutan, especially the young who are growing up and who seem to have this uninterrupted view of the future. And Gelefu is very definitely based on mindfulness and integrity. So these are two kind of things that will hold big space in the kind of people who come there and work there. And I think that is full in many ways across the people in Bhutan. They have been able to manage both the traditional way of life and modernity. So they are able to balance that. And I think that's a very important aspect. The other thing that stays with me, which I find common across a lot of the people here, is a sense of curiosity. They have that. They're wanting to learn. So that learning is what's going to be great for GMC, because new things are going to come there. It's not just a traditional city that's coming there. So that ability to learn with integrity. And there's a whole value system that exists amongst all the people that I have had. So when they're not necessarily looking for jobs only, any old job, but they're looking for meaning in what they're going to do with themselves, the meaning in life. So these things I find are across most of the people that I have dealt with over the years. And I think that this aspect of curiosity, integrity, mindfulness, dealing with the cross from Beul to now, I think that is going to be... And the other thing that kind of covers all this is a sense of service. The whole aspect of the vision that His Majesty has shared with all the people, everybody is kind of excited and willing to participate. So this anticipation, wanting to serve, I think that's what's going to be, not necessarily looking at specific skills, the mindset of the people that I have met with over the years, I think that's going to be perfect almost into a move into GMC.
Thank you, Darshula. Now to Mr. Leela. Let's shift this conversation towards something more specific. Now, we all know that the most important and visible project in the Gyeongju Mindfulness City is the Gyeongju International Airport. And His Majesty has commanded for this airport to be completed by December 2029, which is just 4 years away from now. So with your experience in overseeing Changi Airport for over a decade, what can you tell us about the impact this international airport will have on GMC?
We are very excited about the airport in GMC. We have been working hard at it. And I think it will be a game changer in many ways. First, it represents a massive project. As with all airport development around the world, for Gyeongju, it probably represents about 35-40% of the total capital expenditure that we expect for phase 1 of the city by early 2030s, which is a massive amount of work and investment. But it is also a great affirmation of the ability of Bhutan in executing such a complex project. It will be bringing together the best of Bhutan with the best of the world. And we're aiming to start work on the ground by second half of this year. And I think it will be a good testimony to the world that things can be done and done in a timely fashion and in an excellent quality of standards. We have recently released the design of the airport, and will be deeply encouraged by the positive feedback, not just within Bhutan, but around the world. It shows that it will be a game changer in design, where we kept the best of the heritage of the architecture and symbols, cultural symbols of Bhutan, but also mixing it and blending it so that it has the most modern facilities that you will need to fulfill a modern function of aviation. But above all, I think it is not just in the superficial beauty. We always believe that the beauty of a place and architecture and infrastructure is best fulfilled when it fulfills the purpose of the place. And there's nothing more important to a small country especially about the purpose of an airport, because it shows a commitment and affirmation, a desire for us to connect with the world and to stay relevant with the world, first to the region and then the world. And in many aspects, at the moment, our international airport in Paro does offer an exotic arrival for many of our travelers, but we know it faces several key constraints given the mountainous approach, the lack of runway length, the altitude, lack of instrumentation. Some of these are real constraints that will be removed as we develop this new airport in GMC. because it's on a flatter terrain, and it will be a key gateway, not just to Galafu, but to the rest of Bhutan as well. And we're very much looking forward to the new developments that will be catalyzed by the airport with the development of the city.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Now, Dasho, as a lead to the spiritual work stream, Dasho, how do you envision the spiritual and cultural values of Bhutan playing a role in the identity of the Gelifu Mindfulness City?
The identity of the Gelifu Mindfulness City, GMC, is deeply rooted in Bhutan's culture and spiritual heritage. Guided by His Majesty's profound vision, this initiative goes far beyond physical infrastructure. It is about creating a space where it captures the Buddhist values such as compassion, balance, and harmony with nature. GMC is envisioned as a space where spiritual growth is seamlessly woven into the fabric of everyday life. Through sacred spaces, temples, retreat centers, and contemplative environments, we aim to offer both locals and international visitors a sanctuary of mindfulness, reflection, and inner transformation.
That's Dasho. Now, let's talk about the opportunities. What are some of the opportunities for Bhutanese in the spiritual and wellness sector within GMC? And if yes, are there specific kinds of experiences or background that GMC is looking in this space?
GMC presents a unique and timely opportunity for Buddhists to lead and shape the spiritual and wellness landscape of this city. Individuals with backgrounds in spiritual practice, traditional healings, meditation, and wellness therapies, or cultural storytelling will have many roles to play as guides, creators, healers, and ambassadors of Bhutan's deeply rooted values. At the same time, young Buddhists with talents in emerging fields such as yoga, mindfulness-based interventions, and psychology will have more opportunities in this vision. This is also a space for innovation where tradition meets with the modern needs to create profound experiences for a global experience. As we begin to operationalize this domain, we are currently seeking to recruit few individuals with strong capabilities in research and project management to help design and coordinate spiritual projects within the GMC. This is many opportunities. This is the beginning of many opportunities that will come in GMC.
Thank you, Ladashu. Now, Mr. Kuntoy, as one of the key personnels overseeing project development in GMC and a close oversight of the Gelifu International Airport, can you give us a sense of the type of jobs, opportunities that are likely to be available for Bhutanese when this project starts in earnest?
Yes. First off, I want to say on behalf of all project development and project management team, global consultants, this is truly our privilege for all of us to be able to work on this project under the visionary of His Majesty the King, under the close direction from our senior executive team, and together with the support and the passionate compassion, the passion of the Bhutanese people, is truly one of the lifetime projects. So thank you so much for opportunity. When it comes for job opportunity for Bhutanese, actually the opportunities have begun. It's already started now. And whenever we talk among the team, we always think about Bhutanese participation. We still want to draw upon the local knowledge of Bhutanese together with building and helping developing the skills and talents for Bhutanese. To be specific, the city and the airport has to go through 3 major phases. We are in the early stage of the design construction. In the airport, we already involve Bhutanese. We're working closely with them. The work that about to be executed for the airport will involve lots of Bhutanese. In the city development itself, we will be involving and working closely with architect, engineer for some of the major design and renovation work. And this is just only the beginning. As the city and the airport grow, we see lots of opportunity for all design and construction related field, architect, engineer, construction site supervision, material specialists, material suppliers. Beyond design and construction, we are also trying to build a momentum for the tourism industry. So with that happening in the next 5 years, we also see lots of job opportunities for tourism-related field, tour guide, food and beverage, hospitality, wellness. That's only to name a few. So for everyone listening, either you are a student, entrepreneur, technician, specialist, there's lots of opportunities. And again, the opportunities have begun, and it will only continue to grow. And we have Bhutanese in the very heart of it.
Thank you, Mr. Kunto. I think it's a very good news for all the Bhutanese out there. Now, moving on to Mr. Jonathan To, could you please tell us the importance of international affairs of GMC and the role that you play in supporting the growth and development of the Special Administrative Region? And in this regard, what kind of Bhutanese talent are you looking for?
Thank you. And first and foremost, it's a privilege to be part of the GMC team, to be able to fulfill His Majesty's vision on Galefu Mindfulness City. For international affairs, definitely there's an important role to play in supporting the economic development of GMC. As a relatively small SAR, obviously we will not have our own domestic market. We will not be like India, for example. So it's very important for us to be well connected to international hubs and nodes, to have good connectivity, to have good policies and international agreements that allow foreign investors to come seamlessly into GMC. So if I were to give an example, an investor coming to GMC would be thinking, oh my goodness, I would not want to be taxed doubly by my own country as well as GMC. So it's important for us to think through what type of high quality double taxation agreements we should have, for example, with jurisdictions like India, Singapore, Dubai, and to be able to facilitate the movement and flow of investments. Or another example, since we've talked so much about Galefu International Airport, what type of air services agreements should we have in order to attract airlines and carriers to fly to make sure that our airport is viable? But closer to Galefu, we look just across the border, is Assam. So what kind of agreements can we have with the state of Assam, with India, to facilitate customs movement of goods and services between the industries? How are we able to harmonize such economic cooperation with each other? All this will require some form of international agreements, some form of discussion with foreign partners. So in that sense, the international affairs arm of GMC will undertake this role to support our economic policies, to see how we can work with like-minded partners or crucial partners that we need, especially hub cities, to discuss various agreements. Well, as for the kind of talent that we're looking for, I'm very encouraged to hear Dashu Arun talking about the strong talent and values of Bhutanese. Certainly, we're looking for tenacious yet patient Bhutanese talent to work on international affairs. As we negotiate with various partners, we need to be able to be the front face of GMC with international partners. So a little bit of diplomacy as well in terms of speaking to other governments, whether they visit us in Galefu or Thimphu or in Bhutan, or whether we go out promoting what GMC means to other foreign governments. So certainly having some international exposure is an advantage, but not a deal breaker. Certainly we are looking for all Bhutanese, whether you're a fresh grad or whether you have experience. We love to work with talent that is committed and dedicated, devoted to His Majesty's vision to make sure that we are able to conclude this project in a successful manner. So I certainly welcome many Bhutanese young talent and not so young talent to come work together with us.
Right, thank you so much, sir. And that wraps up a truly insightful conversation from our end. And a big thank you to all the panelists for your valuable perspectives. But the conversation doesn't stop here. My colleague Sonam is standing by in the studio in Thimphu with another exciting panel lined up. So Sonam, it's over to you now.
Thank you, Samthan. Here in the studio, we are joined by distinguished individuals who are closely involved in this historic project. Over the next few minutes, we will explore not only the vision behind GMC, but also the kinds of talent the city hopes to attract. Today, we are joined by Mr. Tashipenjo, who is the lead city development of Gelifu Mindfulness City. Next, we have Kerry Sanima, who is the managing director of tourism. And we are also joined by Mr. Rapsal Doji, who is the Chief Communication Officer at GMC. Firstly, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude and thank you to all of you for joining us. So, Mr. Tashi, I want to ask you, what are the types of talent that you are looking for at this early stage, and are there any particular skills that Bhutanese youth should be looking forward to build?
I'm deeply humbled and at the same time honored to speak to you about His Majesty's sacred yet very profound vision for the Gelifu Mindfulness City, a national undertaking that aspires to become a model of city development rooted in Bhutanese value while looking confidently and creatively into the future. At the heart of this vision is our deep commitment for true sustainability. Indeed, in His Majesty's own words, the vision for the GMC is to build a city that is safe, clean, green and happy, a city that will foster high quality of living. While the GMC is being rooted in Bhutanese value, it is also being shaped with a global outlook. The city is envisioned to bring about a platform that will foster international collaboration, a place where innovation, spirituality and sustainability will converge. The aim of the GMC is to become, in fact, a destination for global talents to come in, a destination for responsible investors and future thinking institutions, at the same time providing a unique Bhutanese experience of place, purpose and peace. As we enter the foundational phase of the development of the GMC, we are actively seeking engagement of individuals with diverse range of skills, including urban planning, engineering, architecture, environmentalist, data analytics, to mention a few. These professionals are pivotal in shaping the city's core functions and infrastructure. I believe that technical qualifications is very important, but we also will value the individuals who bring creativity, a spirit of collaboration, but more importantly, a strong problem-solving mindset. The challenges ahead will require innovative thinking, a capacity to be able to respond with care and insight. To our youth, the GMC will provide a unique opportunity for all of you to develop capabilities in the field or in the areas of design thinking, sustainability and digital tools, which are very important and essential for city planning and development. There is indeed place for everyone in this journey, from architects, engineers to storytellers, from designers to communicators. To all my fellow architects, engineers, urban planners, to all our young boys and girls, if you are passionate about His Majesty's vision for the future of our country, this is the time to step forward and be part of this transformative national endeavor. Kadiche and thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I'd like to ask Ms. Carissa. So Bhutan is world renowned for its natural and cultural tourism. So can you share with us about the tourism potential of GMC and the kinds of investors that Special Administrative Region is looking for?
Thank you, Sonam. As we just heard from Tashi, GMC is Bhutan's bold next step in mindful and high-value tourism. And tourism is also one of the low-hanging fruits in terms of the city's development. In the short term, we aim to focus on 4 key areas in tourism: wellness tourism, spiritual tourism, nature tourism, and adventure tourism. And we aim to create new experiences and itineraries and attractions that are not currently offered anywhere else in Bhutan. In terms of investors, we are seeking investors in certain areas, including hospitality, MICE, meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibitions, spiritual education, tourism infrastructure development, food and beverage, retail, and many more. And our ideal investor partners would be long-term collaborators who are committed to working with the Bhutanese communities, but those who also share Bhutan's values and who share Bhutan's vision and are also committed to environmental protection.
And looking forward, ma'am, what kind of job opportunities would this open up?
Over the next 10 to 15 years, GMC will create tens of thousands of jobs, many of which will be in tourism, and it will also attract hundreds of thousands of tourists. So in the short term and the long term, there will be a lot of opportunities in the tourism ecosystem, in jobs such as working in hotels, in guiding, in nature and conservation, in meetings, in food and beverage, in retail, in the entire aviation ecosystem, and many, many more. Essentially, we're looking for people who are passionate about tourism and hospitality and creating guest experiences. We are committed to upskilling the Bhutanese youth and working with the existing tourism sector in Bhutan to help create and deliver these experiences. And at the same time, we're very, very committed and focused on making sure that GMC delivers a world-class tourism experience and that every single touch point across the tourism ecosystem has the highest possible quality standards.
Thank you, ma'am. And moving on, I'd like to ask Mr. Rapsal, how did you get involved with GMC and how is GMC approaching storytelling and public engagement around such ambitious and bold project?
Thank you, Sonam. How did I get involved? Well, about 13 years ago, I made one of the most important decisions of my life. I quit my job in the UN system in Switzerland and I came back to Bhutan. And I came back to Bhutan because, like many of us, I had all these opportunities and privileges to live and study abroad. And I wanted to come back and pay it forward. But I didn't want to join the government. In fact, I wanted to be a social entrepreneur. So for the next 10 years, that's what I did. I built businesses that tried to balance profit with purpose. And this concept of prosperity with purpose is at the very root of the GMC. And so when the opportunity and the honor to join the GMC team very early on came, I accepted it immediately. In fact, I shut down all my ventures and I made this radical shift in my career. But it was also the easiest decision of my life because I was inspired by His Majesty. I was inspired by the vision. I was very excited to be part of this nation-building exercise. And nation-building is at the very core of the GMC. It is not just about the transformation of our economic trajectory. It's a transformation of our culture to become more resilient and agile and prosperous as a society. And so that is the communication that we will continue to have at the GMC, even as we enhance the engagement with Bhutanese near and far.
Leslie, thank you so much, sir. Lastly, can you give us a glimpse on the communication roles or projects a young professional can take up if they join GMC?
Well, for young professionals at the communications department of the GMC, I think the roles are going to be extremely dynamic. you'll get to kind of see this macro perspective of all the moving parts of the GMC, from design to policy, from international outreach to engagements domestically and at the grassroots level. You'll get to build and hone your skills, from writing to digital media, from public speaking to strategic thinking. And you'll get to work with a lot of international experts as well, and all of that is very enriching. But I think the communications department is also a training ground for the GMC to be able to understand the vision inside out and to be able to share the story of the GMC with the world. So I'm very excited to work with the young Bhutanese talent, but I don't think we necessarily need to have an academic background in communications. I think what is more critical is the commitment, the curiosity, the optimism, and the drive to want to learn and grow with the GMC, because we're very fortunate in His Majesty. We have the inspiration and we have the critical foresight. But what we need now is the team that is able to implement the vision, that is able to deliver the outputs. And this is why the recruitment drive is so critical. But there is no doubt that it is a very exciting time and place to work with and for the GMC.
Thank you so much all for making time, joining with us, and then sharing what GMC would look like and also the kinds of job opportunities for Bhutanese professionals. Thank you so much. Now, as we near the end of this special program, one key question remains to many of our viewers. How can they be the part of this? To talk us through job openings, recruitment process, and how to apply, I am pleased to welcome Ms. Louise Mongar, who is the Chief Human Resource Officer of GMC. Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am. I'd like to ask, what is the hiring strategy for GMC and the key positions identified at this stage?
Thank you, Sonam. GMC will establish an open and transparent hiring process to keep all Bhutanese informed, and also if there are interested Bhutanese to apply, then we also facilitate application submissions. We are keen to start the process of reaching out to the Bhutanese talent both within Bhutan and also overseas to better understand the talent out there. We'll be hiring for many critical positions starting from now. Some of the positions identified are architects, engineers, strategic planner, international relations experts, tourism professionals, among many other positions that we would be hiring. At this stage, we are collecting, from today we'll start collecting the CVs of the potential candidates, which will also allow us to create the data pool database for the talent, which we will also allow people to update their CVs quarterly or biannually, whatever is relevant going forward. Finally, to ensure a transparent hiring process, we will be making all jobs available publicly announced in our official websites or any platforms that is relevant.
And ma'am, how is this process designed?
The application process is straightforward. It's very simple. We have a QR code being developed, so individuals can either scan the QR code, or alternatively they can also use the URL to access the application form. You need to put in basic information about your CID, your current locations to customize hiring process then, and also the your competences aligned to business strategies that is available within the GMC. We also have the HR board being developed, so if you have queries that require immediate answers, you can also reach out to the HR board that's on our website. And finally, we are expecting an overwhelming applications at this stage, and then we'll only be reaching out to candidates who has the potential for the next level assessment. And then the details on salary, service conditions we will discuss with the successful candidates then. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And with this, we come to the end of our special program on GMC. Thank you to all the guests for joining us. And Gelifu Mindfulness City is not just a dream. It is a national vision at motion. And as we have heard today, GMC makes room for everyone. Thank you for watching.
How to submit your application. Welcome. To submit your application, simply scan the QR code or click the URL to access the application form. Enter your full name and date of birth. Provide your CID card number This applies to all Bhutanese applicants, both local and overseas. Phone number, email address, and location are mandatory fields. These will help us to coordinate the next steps in the hiring process. Select the department that best matches your skills from the provided list. If none fit, choose Other and specify your area. Share your field of study and years of experience. Experience is valued but not mandatory. You may upload your CV to support your application. Provide contact details for 2 referees, which is not a mandatory field. Once your CV has been uploaded, click on the Submit button to complete your application process. It is important to note that the application form opens quarterly to keep information current and allow new applicants to apply. Due to high application volumes, only shortlisted candidates will be contacted.